Welcome back to ULTI.TV's coverage of EBUCC 2023. Mixed division action here between AKS Zlai and Gleisdorf from Austria. And a turnover there on the first point. It's going to give the disc to the Austrians.
Yeah, not how you want to open up a pool stages game that is so important to both sides. It's a big arcing one.
Blading it towards this near side. Brilliant edge on it to take it over the defender. Tracked down well towards the front of the end zone. A break for the Austrians on the game's first point. They take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, chaps get there, running that big lady flick down with aplomb. And setting up what hopefully will be a pretty intense game.
I'd say that's a pretty strong start to the game. The Austrians had a bit of an up and down day so far. Universe point win over Rebel in the morning, and then losses in their next two games, 13-7 to Corocota from Spain and 13-6 to the Czech Republic's Terrible Monkeys. Yeah, which I always feel like is a name that gives themselves a bit of a disservice, but we'll move on. For the Poles, they've also been a bit up and down. Losses to Corocota and RFO, the Rai Flying Oysters, but they beat Rebel 13-9. And they're starting right from the back of their own end zone there.
Yeah, in this pool stage, I think, Benji, we are expecting RFO to be sort of the creme de la creme, rising to the top with strong performances early doors.
And a wicked scuba over the top. It's going to hit the turf.
Yeah, wicked curious. Wicked curious position of that disc. I like the idea of sort of throwing that lead to the soft side of the pitch, but not the execution required to go anywhere near it.
Disc in play, ripped down the center of the field. Brilliantly caught there by Felgic. Now trying to get on the roll, having been broken on the first point. Sorry, the Austrians. I got my colours confused at the start of the game, but this time they are able to punch it in and tie the game up at once.
Yeah, a decent response after getting broken to start us off. And pretty quick work of it as well. On the second, asking for their offense, just the 3 passes required.
Have a look at it again here on the replay. I mean, that is a really ripped forehand in there from Felgic.
Well, she had ripped down the earlier sort of deep shot as well that was really low. I almost thought for a minute that she was sort of a trailing defender, but actually worked to their benefit. That was perhaps a touch underthrown.
Here's the deep shot, just over the arm of the defender. Well tracked in again. It seems like the deep game firing early for the Poles, but not on that occasion. They couldn't make it count.
Yeah, Jackson not throwing exactly how she intended, but can she make up for it on the defense? Look at the speed. Hold on. Hold the phone. Nina Pansy. What was that? What was that acceleration, Benji? I'm stunned.
It's a shame that it kind of doesn't really matter how fast you are if the disc is way out of bounds.
Well, hopefully that's not her one use of nitrous oxide injection, because that was heckin' rapid.
So the disc is going to be brought in a little bit further down the pitch.
And a little bit of an opportunity there for Michael Kulmer to adjust his sand socks. Although those look like dive socks because they've got that Velcro at the top.
And here's the deep put again from Madej. Trying to size it up. Oh, a big hand on it, slaps it away. Pansy again making her presence felt.
Yeah, already looking to be quite the battle between Olga Jacz-Madej and Nina Pansy. Both two athletic, rapid individuals who like the deep space. Pansy coming under, though, being given that big poach off.
Here's the deep shot again. Oh, the receiver just lost a step a little bit in there, got caught in the sand, and it provided the opportunity for Michał Orkanwecki to be able to get that layout block.
Well, at the moment, exciting matchups developing all over the pitch here.
Having a look at the underneath pass, not sure he wants it, is going to take it at the second time of asking, and a travel call is just going to send them back. Czepelewski had the kind of hand to the chest. Me?
Moi? I travelled? How could you?
He got the nod of saying, I'm afraid you did. We'll get the disc back in his hands. Checks in. They've opened up that nice space underneath there. Szczeniawska. Into the middle, there's that break available on the underneath pass. Frischenschlager's trying to get back into position, but the disc has moved along quickly. Now down the sideline, right past the bidding defender. Throwing it underneath now, not far outside of the end zone. Szczeniawska, again looking, trying to isolate a receiver. Oh, it's all sort of cluttered and clustered in there. They forced it in, but I think there might be a foul, maybe a little bit too much muscling past there.
Yeah, not very desirable end zone offense here from AKS Lie.
It's a little bit clogged, isn't it?
Well, it's also perhaps a bit of a lack of commitment from Szczeniawska. Just needed to choose a single option and gets hand blocked after dialing that in somewhat.
So, Gleisdorf looking to bring us on serve. At midfield. Vilavica. Right tight on this sideline for Pansy. Looking for an option. Gets it downfield to Frischenschlager. With the hammer over the top. Had a big hand. Knocks it away from Orkanwecki. Just, I think, could have done with a bit more on that, leading over towards the break side, fading over the pair of them as well, giving the receiver an opportunity to box out.
Yeah, it's a low wing condition, but that one just popped up a little bit too much.
Nice low release there, downfield to Szczeniawska. Madej swinging across Czepelewski. Two of them just sling it back and forth at the moment. They've got that available if they want it, and they will indeed go back. Not a lot of movement going on downfield. Going to see if they can work it through the handlers for a moment. Jakub Madej now with a riser that's really well handled. Czepelewski dished off into the centre. That is a wicked low release that finds the target. Jakub Madej popping it off. Madej threads it through there to Szczeniawska. They got a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean, right? They just got a bit slow at points, and it felt like there was nothing going on, but they were able to reset it until they were finally able to get in rhythm, and they picked up the stagnation and worked it in for the score. Still wasn't the word I was looking for. I'll have a think about it.
I think stagnant is an accurate description of how that sort of offense went, though, Benji. There were, as you say, there were points where rather than take that sort of completely poached off swing to just abuse the poach in the lane, make that player have to catch up, maybe be out of position, allow that thrower to kind of have, you know, some curious options to choose from. They just seem to kind of just sit and think, and almost like, you know, it's like some sort of catchy musical, not like a game show clock has to be going on, but no waiting on that one. Big shot.
And a big, beautiful shot as well. Arms pumped in the air from Felgic because she's happy with the release on that one. Put it right on Balmega to tie us up at twos. It's what you want really after a nice quick point where you force the opposition O-line to be out there for a while. Your O-line comes out, puts it straight in, and you've got to get those tight legs back on the field.
Oh, absolutely, and they are going to be pretty tired legs indeed. AKS Lee had to put in 11 passes after 12 passes after some earlier turnovers in the previous possessions to take us to 2-1. But all leveled up at 2s here at the moment. Gleisdorf finding more form and putting themselves back into this game.
So I think the word I wanted on the previous Polish show point was swampy.
Swampy. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they were kind of treading through treacle a little bit. But this looks like there's a bit more pace about the offences. Seeing a bit of zone, I think, really, for the first time in this game. Madej.
I do like the confidence of the spread across the field, actually.
And that is just a stone cold drop. It happens. Got to pick yourself up, dust yourself down, and go and try and earn it back.
Well, I was just literally thinking to myself, you know, the spread of the handlers, the confidence in this win, as we see a huge attempt to get the break back.
They were doing the right things, but just didn't quite execute on them. And whoa, one poor drop deserves another, I'm afraid. It just zipped through that little post box that the receiver made for it. Haida is, yeah, probably wants that one back because the throw is where it needs to be, and it's the unfortunate clap of doom.
Marcin Kruk there, I think, coming unstuck.
So more zone coming out from the Austrians. Again, I didn't think there was anything wrong with the Polish spacing necessarily. But everything is quite compressed in their offense now. Not necessarily any field stretching options. There's one. I wonder if they'll take the temptation to utilize it. It does space out the front line of that offense, and they're already beyond midfield now. Into the backfield for Madej. You see him kind of just trying to direct traffic downfield. I think they want to drag the big man Haida into a place where he's maybe less involved. Wisniewska. Not far outside the end zone now, beyond the attacking brick mark. And that probably is pretty much bang on where the attacking brick mark is. Oh, a little bit of a riser. Well caught on the far sideline. Wisniewska. Madej. Trying to find ways to just force that over the plane. Going back instead to Czepelewski. Trying to get a bit of throw and go action here with Wisniewska. And wanted to punch that one through. But Haida was ready and waiting. He sprung the trap to get the turn. And now he picks up.
Oh, well, talk about patient defense for sure. Nearly getting some friendly fire there, but Haida looking very strong.
Undercut developing here. Dished off quickly by Ults. Now flowing towards the far side with Baumega. There's a blade towards the end zone. Can he track it down? Just couldn't quite get those knees picking up and churning downfield at the rate he wanted.
Well, a former bronze medalist at the National Beach Club Championships back home. Andreas Haida. So, been playing for just over a decade now. Started his ultimate career in 2012, but a timeout call, and I think that's fairly wise from the Poles.
Yeah, looking a bit ragged, so we're going to take a timeout here in the booth as well, and we'll join you very shortly.
July from Nottingham, England. The World Flying Disc Federation's World Under-24 Ultimate Championships. Live all-access coverage, including semis and finals, exclusively at ULTI.TV. We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and fund our work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Back in action here in the mixed division at the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships 2023. AKS from Poland up against GTV Glystuff of Austria.
What's with all these TLAs, Benji?
The what?
3-letter acronyms.
Oh, I'm assuming it's some sort of, like, basically saying, like, where you have a football team has FC at the end for, like, football club. I'm guessing maybe it's, like, one of those.
I like that theory.
Maybe GTV means Gleisdorf team Frisbee disc. I don't know about that one.
Frisbee disc.
That had a horrible mouthfeel to it. Anyway, back in action off the timeout. The Poles kind of working out how to dissect this zone. Yakshmade, which, to be honest, I thought they were doing really well until they just got a little bit gummed up on the end zone. And a miscommunication there will give the disc to Gleisdorf. The curse of the turnout has come to Poland.
Although both sides have now had a little bit of a break, because this was, again, becoming one of those really long, grindy points. Got 3 turnovers for AKS and 2 for GTV Glystuff. So can they put themselves together? It's a very deep stack to start.
Yeah, trying to clear themselves a lot of space in the underneath option. Sachs called for the travel, gets his foot back in position. Oots. Sees one handler clear out downfield. Now looking for a second option. The defender is right on the shoulder, but Felgic boxes out for the goal. Another break. This time we are back on serve. First of the game for the Austrians. Gleisdorf lead 3-2.
Well, and if I have this correctly, that is the 3rd goal of the game to GTV Gleisdorf. So she's just all over the pitch for them. Oh no, I take it back. Teresa Ultz has 1.
Yeah, I think it's 2 assists and a goal.
Oh, there we go, Benji.
Other way round, but yes, she's been involved.
Brain.
It's been a long day, Hannah, especially for you because you didn't get here till 3 in the morning.
I didn't. I had, according to my my statometer, I had 3 hours and 2 minutes of sleep. Blame Guayota.
Well, that's 2 full sleep cycles. I don't know what you're moaning about.
But yes, it has been a long day here. But either way, Sophie Felgic has been involved in every single point for Gleisdorf.
So they're not going to die wandering this point at the Poles. And hey, Route 1 Ultimate, when it works, why bother doing anything else?
Well, a lovely little celebration there from Marcin Kruk, who I have to say, I accidentally called him on the other side of the thing for an error, which is actually for Gleisdorf. But yeah, definitely well deserved there. I think there's a clear difference in the style of Ultimate being played by the O-line and the D-line of ALS Zlui.
Yeah, Kruk is a physicist by trade. Who were one of 3 physicists on the roster, which feels like too many physicists, but...
I'm not sure I think there's too many physicists, because of course they're able to... you know, understand the calculations required for flying objects pretty well.
The what? Mate, I did a humanities degree. I've got nothing.
I do hear that physics is basically just a mathematics degree, though.
Right. Actually, that's not even true. I've got 2 humanities degrees, technically, so yeah, God knows what I'm doing.
Oh, check you out. I think you're commentating, Benji. Either way, though, this is really good flow from Gleisdorf.
Down the sideline. Whoa, there was scarcely a window there, and they very nearly threaded it in. Unfortunately for Gleisdorf, Vilovica just couldn't quite get their hands to close together. It's one of those where it's far out in front, and she's trying to get it from the underhand. There's not the synchronicity between the 2 hands coming together.
Well, a young player hailing from Gleisdorf as her hometown. I feel like it's come through the under-17s and under-20s championships with Austria.
We've had some information from the chat, by the way, which I'll give you after this point, with the Poles trying to come downfield. Looking for the break. High release into the centre. Thought for a second that Pansy was going to get her hands on it. She might still have got a fingertip, but nothing more. Not far outside the end zone now. Oh, hello. The defender was sold so far down the river. He'd gone all the way into the Atlantic Ocean and comes wide open to the open side for the score. And the Poles break through Gamjic to go 4-3 up.
Yeah, do not pass go, do not swim anywhere near an estuary, just straight to the beach with you. I think, Benji, though, the information that we've just gotten from the chat as to perhaps a bit of information about Gleisdorf, I would like you to work it in as a pun first.
No.
Oh.
It's too. My brain's too fried, I think, for that.
No, okay, fair enough. All right then, tell us, Benji,
GTV
what's the information?
GTV means Gleisdorf Turnverein, if my German pronunciation's any good, which basically means Gymnastics Club of Gleisdorf. So it essentially is saying, like, just putting your initials in there. Although, does that also mean that they've given themselves a tautology in their name?
A what in their name?
Tautology. They've
Tautology.
repeated it.
Ah.
So it's like Gleisdorf Turnverein Gleisdorf.
I don't know, but it sounds like it could make a really good chant.
I was thinking that. So when I was saying it, I was like, this has got a really nice rhythm and intonation to it, as the pool is just too deep.
Gleisdorf, Turnverein, Gleisdorf. Yeah. Okay, we're going to have to talk to them on the sidelines after this game, Benji. But thank you for the insight, Yanni Holznagel.
We do appreciate everyone who's watching and enjoying the streams, whether you're in Poland, Austria, Royan, or who knows, who really minds. Right past the bidding, Håkan. And that one is gunned deep. Even Felgic can't get there, despite the monster game that she's having.
Well, the wind isn't really impacting these throws too heavily. It's just a very gentle, almost caressing breeze. Bit of crosswind, but left to right on our cameras as we see it.
Austrians going for more zone on the turn.
I don't mind that. We have seen early doors AKS like really working that deep space effectively and isolating players upfield.
This time, can he thread it through? No. To see on the floor, the pumped arms of Felgic. Must have got a piece as they tried to weave it through. Still count beginning to rise. Well, I say beginning to rise, obviously it rises from the very start. But you see my point, it was getting very high, but they got it off. Felgic opening up the arm. Can Hyder track it to the back of the end zone? The big man can. And Felgic is on a bit of a heater now. 3 assists and a goal. And got a block on that point as well. So a double happiness of sorts, 4 apiece.
Well, having started playing Ultimate because she wanted to win the school championship with back in the day when she was a junior, Felgic, as you say, a real impact player so far in this match. Previously played for Catch-Up Grass, you know, lesser known team.
I've heard of them. I've played against them.
Have you, Benji?
Yes, way back in the day. Would have been, let me do maths in here, Paganello 2012?
Sounds about right. She
God, I'm old.
attributes her sporting hero to another player who's actually at this tournament. And actually, I can tell you, Benji, appears in 10 different players' survey as probably capped as their sporting hero.
Really?
Liv Kovalchuk.
Interesting. Another deep put from the Poles, but no one's going to be able to get to that one. So it ends up in the bags on the sideline. You can hear a whistle being blown on a distant pitch somewhere. From the sideline. Struggling to find space downfield, going for the big look towards the sideline. And would it have come back in bounds for Höfler? I'm not convinced, but the defender's deciding, you know what, why bother taking the risk?
Oh, no, absolutely. That was entirely towable for Yvonne Höfler.
So in from the front cone. And the swing for the Callahan!
Oh my. Well, I tell you what. Going for the out of bounds catch and luring the defenders to give the short field. What a smart move.
Every time. I mean, honestly, it happened so quickly and almost uneventfully that players almost didn't quite know what had happened. But it's Fievski on the swing. There's obviously just some sort of communication breakdown. And Pansy's right there and just nips in, rips it down, and it's 5-4 to Gleisdorf.
Well, would you look at that, Benji?
Poles on offense then, having conceded that Callahan. Can they pick themselves up mentally?
I'm going to say yes.
Laying out underneath Madej. High release of Diaksh Madej.
Do you think they're maybe related, Benji?
I wonder if there is some sort of maybe marital connection. Just swinging around the back at the moment. Underneath, or she was at full extension to lay out and couldn't wrap the hand underneath, and it bounces to the turf.
Well, Diaksh Madej is clearly one of the key parts of the Polish offense. Early doors, she was having a pretty good game, but I think her confidence has started to wane as she's had quite the series of passes that have asked a lot of her abilities on the pitch.
Felgic on the far sideline, a high one that's well ripped down by Ults. Maybe a bump potentially?
Yeah, looks like.
Injury called.
Coming off with already taped up knee. Hopefully Teresa Ults will be okay. It looks like she's got caught on the hand, probably by a furious mark, which, you know, none of these collisions are intentional out here at the pitch, of course, but hopefully she's all right. Probably just a bit of a shock to the nerves.
Back in play. Shot down the far sideline, and a huge smack on that one from Crook. They brought Vilovica in on the injury substitution. Tried to squeeze it down the sideline with not much else developing.
Well, there was an upline cut from Felgic, so perhaps a bit of double cutting causing confusion.
Nice around break towards the far sideline. Zhalkowska-Rudy centres, and now Madej putting it deep, a big layout, it's still alive, but got enough of a piece of it, did Sachs.
That's a real shame. I think Martin Kluk, by the look of that deep shot that was developing from his cut, he kind of got a bit disheartened halfway through, and then as the disc went up, just sort of, you know, hadn't quite powered all the way. Great attempt on the rundown, though, just making sure if there was an opportunity for a big hero layout grab that he'd be in the area to get it.
Here's Felgic. Got to play a wide open in the centre. Sachs, having got the layout, trying to work everything through his hands now. See if he can play a little sax solo. Thank you very much.
Oh, the pun game, so
I'm
good.
here all weekend. Felgic on the sideline, showing the overhead, but she's putting it away for now. Got the upline cut from Vilovica. Stall count ticking up and finding the inside through, and it is the layout for the bookends for Sachs.
Double happiness, I think. Half-time being called, so that does give me the suggestion, Benji, that we do actually have timed halves in these games.
Yeah, we do. It's just sometimes we don't always pick up when they happen because it's essentially as if they hadn't, because everything's going on serve anyway. 6-4 it is here, and there isn't, even though we have the half time, you get the mirror of the start of the game. There isn't really a break time-wise. You just kind of flip the script and keep going. Seeing a shot of Reinhard Sachs there. Also being reliably informed by our viewers in chat that AKS essentially means Academic Sports Club, and that's why it means evil. So I might start referring to them as the bad guys from now on.
Well, they are playing in black.
Exactly.
So, you know, maybe there's a bit of a Darth vibe going on.
6-4, the Austrians lead here at half-time in a very back-and-forth game, I think, Hannah.
Yeah, absolutely. It really has been a case of trading momentum. AKS Sly coming out with that first break early doors, putting some really impressive work together, putting lots of pressure on GTV Glystuff. But thus far, coming into this second half, GTV Glystuff with all that momentum, and it really has just been them cleaning things up and looking pretty ruthless on defense. The counter-attack when they get the turnover is rapid and it is intense.
The low pass there from Jalskowska Rudy was well rescued by Chapska. And now they're getting a bit of break side flow. Gamzik on a rope to Agata Jalskowska Rudy for the score. Actually, very helpfully, she's put in the pronunciation guide. Just Rudy is fine, but I thought I'd try and wrap my mouth around it. Ironically, I can't say that. Anyway, it was a really nice score. She could rescue the disc earlier in the point. They utilised the break side well, and they just sat that one out into space through that inside channel.
Yeah, nothing rude-y about that, although I love this bit of sort of coding nerdery for you. She's actually a scrum master by trade.
Oh, she plays rugby?
No, I think it refers to agile scrum.
Which is?
A type of developing sort of protocol as to kind of how they run the project management. So a scrum master is somebody who... because I think it's called Agile Scrum, I believe. Anyway, I don't know too much about it, apart from the fact that there's some polyamory nerds that use it for their relationships as well.
Fair enough. I'm learning all sorts of things today.
Ah, well, you're supposed to be the general knowledge champion, Benji.
Well, it's not a crowded field. I mean, what? I have the highest opinions of all my co-workers. Deutsch, who is... in a bit of a misnomer, Austrian. Felgic. Looking to try and find that lead pass to Haider. Lovely. Really well executed. Haider now turns, tries to find Felgic as the reset, wanting the low release. Says he got contact on the hand as he was trying to get the around break.
Well, always a tricky one when you have these discussions about hand blocks. Although, I have to say, I can't quite catch the number of who's on the mark at this particular juncture in time, but he's got some fabulous sunglass tan.
I think there'll be a few of those going around at the end of the weekend.
Well, here's hoping, Benji. We certainly had a lot of cloud cover and some thunder and lightning, very, very frightening earlier on today. We are forecast blue skies and sunshine, though, so I hope you've brought plenty of SPF to add to our many TLAs during this game.
I'm just going to hide indoors. It's my usual strategy. Haider, off the accepted foul in the end, just about squeezes that reset off. Fuchs. With a stall count that's getting high. Finds Felgic. Felgic opening it up, and in the battle, in the deep space, Gamzik comes up the winner.
The smaller man besting the taller man. We love to see it.
Clear out that underneath space well, but I think he's only got one thing in mind. He wants Gamzik to get the bookends, and he's going to get it as well. Pops up for the clap catch. coast to coast, end zone to end zone, gets the double happiness and the goal. We are level again at 6 apiece. The game keeps going back and forth, Hannah.
The youngster from Warsaw claiming a clutch goal, bookends for the number 39. And Gamzik is actually inspired by a friend who showed him Frisbee at a scouts camp. But only playing for 3 years. So that should give you a general guide as to the youth in that man's legs. And used them very well. Fantastic battle in the air. And as you say, immediately off to the deep space to go and collect that goal, which he just absolutely ripped away from his defender, almost like a current that had stolen him into the deep space.
6 apiece, just under 10 minutes until the time cap goes off. So we're not going to get to 15 at this point.
Well, we can't get to 15 anyway, though. We are, of course, 13 points cap here because it's beach, but we make these...
I was just testing you.
I know, Benji. I know exactly what you were doing. It's all good, but
I wasn't just testing you.
It's a long day here in the booth for us, and of course we flip between these events. It's always a fun one to get to know exactly what the format is, how long the games are. So 45 minutes of regulation play. As you say, Benji, only 10 of those remaining, or just under now.
Colmar brings in at the brick mark. First cut, Haida underneath, marked by the opposite number 11, Madej. Back to Colmar. Maybe looking for a bit of throw and go action. The force comes around. That opens up the break to Höfler. On a rising stall. Reset to Vilovica. Stall count beginning to tick up again. Höfler. Back to Colmar. Doesn't want to do this in bits and pieces anymore. Tried to track it to the back of the end zone. Maybe just got too far underneath it.
It was about half an inch sort of away from where it needed to be. The wind is truly crosswind now. It is coming from the far side to the near side of the field, so maybe a little bit too much the underside of the disc being shown, and that one being sort of the extra help from the wind shooting it out of contention.
And I think Madej maybe just sucked him into getting a little bit too underneath it as well, and he gets the disc back off the dish off there from Sveniavska. Into the center again. You can see that they're really trying to utilize getting the big gainers underneath, offloading it to the handlers running through. They're scanning the field in front of them. A brilliant inside-out break. Now the run-through from Czepelewski finds Michał Okenrecki, and we have the Poles back in front at 7-6. The pendulum continues to swing back and forth. Does this mean we're going to get 4 and 4 now? Yeah, in the end, she just realized I can just stop here because the defender's face marking. And now Fogic again has it towards the break side. Rudy wants to get the force on. Ults into the backfield. See the tape on that right knee of Ults, and she throws too far for Felgic despite the layout attempt. Wiewski picks up. What can Wiewski do? Rudy underneath. High release, finds Wiewski again. Through that Callahan in the first half. I was going to say that he'd kind of picked himself up and got back into a good phase of play, but that was an aggressive shot all the way across the field, and it floats and bounces off the seats on the far side.
Yeah, it was a nice option underneath from Chapska. But a rare error.
Still rising. Felgich just points and says, there, please. Tries to give the receiver a chance to make a play. Sachs couldn't get there on this time. Here's the rip from Wiejski. Oh, just, and I mean just, past the bidding Felgich.
Oh no, that didn't get completely past. That just snuck past with a little bit of tiny bobble. You could see the vibration on the disc as it connected with the fingertips of Sophie Felgich. Let's look at that one back on replay. Oh, well, maybe we'll get it wound back the VT a touch more. But my goodness, that was quite the bid.
It was a great attempt, and credit Agata Stalkowska-Rudy there, because it would have been very easy. You see a defender lay out in front of you like that. You do sometimes just lose sight of the disc. Oh, I see what you mean. It might have got just tiny, like just the tip of a fingernail, perhaps.
That is the most perfect Mac line touch. Unfortunately, we're not playing Mac line, we're playing Ultimate.
At any rate, the receiver caught it with two hands, so it wouldn't have counted.
Yes, of course.
Another wonderful pull from the Poles. Pins Gleisdorf at the back of their own end zone, but they're not quite in position quickly enough to really make it count. They're still getting bogged down here, though, in the shadow of their own end zone. And they cannot find Raf Teschel. That's the power of good pulling.
And we said that it was a big momentum changer. This is now 4 on the bounce. Can AKS Lie make it 5?
Yaksh Madej comes out of the end zone. Back to Madej. Chepelevsky towards the far sideline. Punches it in to Wisniewska. 9-6 now. The Poles lead. Feels like they're beginning to run away with it, perhaps.
I know, I'm with you, Benji. I really admire the way that they put that last bit of offense together. Just nice and simple and great attack, which is exactly what you need to do when you're trying to roll through that momentum, keep that maintenance going. And the sideline for GTV Glystuff has suddenly gotten very quiet in a moment where it probably needs to start to rise. Questions and thoughts, Benji, and for those of you watching alongside with us, what do you think about the cheeky switcheroo to a white disc rather than the pink?
Well, it's difficult because where we are on the sideline, both of them look fine to us, but obviously we're not necessarily watching things on the stream, so interesting to hear whether you find this actually shows up better on the sound we've got today. Oh, that was into a really congested area.
Well, thankfully, absolutely 0 injuries acquired. Teresa Olds there with that taped up knee, able to play under that contact.
These teams in the 16 pool in the mixed division, Pool C, as that is thrown right into Rudy. So jostling for position and trying to get themselves into the round of 16 with the top 4 teams in the pool going through. So 2 will be going into the bottom bracket, and the swing there, too low and far out in front of Wiejski.
Yeah, a little bit of a squandered opportunity there, although that curious throw into the poach in the lane, it's almost like she couldn't see Rudy because of the low sun.
Either that or was just looking downfield and just kind of mentally phased out the defender there. Here's Hyder. Oh, wonderful, just a plant that gets Rudy going the wrong way. And there's the blading backhand. This is a tough read. And there are a pair of defenders off the back trying to create that bracket deep. And the disc goes into the sand.
Yep, I think it's quite confirmed at this point. AKS Lie have planted a flag in the minds of their opponents, and they are dancing around. I mean, they're not being flawless on offense as we see that deep shot emerging. But
yeah, this time the target is Gamjic, and he rises, but a couple of defenders there. And there might be well, I'd say there is a foul call here.
And it looks to be accepted from the hand signals of Sophie Felgich. But certainly after that throw that she put up, it was a difficult execution, that high release big backhand to try and hit the back of the zone, but you can see her head, her shoulders, everything just sort of crumbling a little bit under the pressure that the Polish side are applying at the moment. So an accepted foul, and disc will be...
if that's a accepted foul, it should be his disc. Thank you very much.
It just took a little while to pick it up. I second-guessed myself.
Rudy now, just going to dish that off to Oldakovska. Wiejski, Kruk, trying to stay patient in the end zone phase. Gamjic, ooh, I tell you what, he wanted the upline, but that was a smart poach off into that lane to prevent the scoring pass from being released. Rudy, I think, was trying to look to see if they could open up a bit more of the field with a break, doesn't see it. Wiejski, he's going to be able to get it around towards that far sideline. Kruk trying to be aggressive, take on the mark. Oh, hello, going with the upside down, and that is frankly obscene. Agata Szlaukovska-Rudy. I mean, you can't be doing stuff like that.
Mate, I think they refer to that on the streets as, that's a Rudy.
It's filth. That is utter filth.
What a clutch grab, though, as we see time expires. So it looks like we're going to get a game to 11. We will confirm for you just to make doubly sure. But my, oh my. I tell you what, there's something that AKS Lion have managed to inject into the latter half of this game, because they've just completely shut out GTV Glystuff. I think they've got the matchups right. They've clearly identified the players that were having a great game, like Nina Pansi, Sophie Felgic, putting pressure on Andreas Heider, Reinhard Sachs. Like, I think they've managed to pull apart some of the key puzzle pieces that were securing GTV Gleisdorf's three-point bounce, and have responded with a lot of pizzazz, some swaz, some might even say.
It was maybe a sketchy decision, maybe sketchily executed, but often the best catches come off the not the most judicial of passes, I'll say.
Indeed, and another, as you've been highlighting, Benji, fantastic pull.
Continually putting the Austrians in negative field position. Filovica will catch that around break. She wants the deep strike. Can Heider chase it down with a little bit of swag as well? I was always nervous when he set himself to go for the trailing edge, but he made it stick, and it is 10-7 now. I'm pretty sure we have game 2-11.
Yeah, we certainly will now, if we did not before, but way to keep the game alive. A nice race off from Andreas Heider. He's been playing his ultimate for 11 years, only with GTV. And not the tallest player out here on the pitches in Royan, but a pretty tall athlete nonetheless.
Who is the tallest player?
Here in the entire tournament?
Yeah.
You know what, Benji? We actually have the information to find that out. Well, there might be some secret people who've not told us their heights. But I'll tell you what, we'll find out and maybe bring it to you before the end of this game.
So this could be the last point, if the Poles can punch it in. Rudy going with that around towards the far sideline. Chapska. Here's Kruk. Wants that inside backhand, got it as well. Past the bid. Oh, well, was that a little bit of ballet at the front of the end zone? It was indeed. I mean, you can bet your life that Chapska wasn't the intended receiver, but it matters not one iota. She toes it in the end zone for the score and the game. 11-7 final score. The Poles taking home their second victory of the weekend.
Well, and well deserved. What an incredible second half performance that was. In the late stages, as I say, I think it was just getting those matchups right, really denying GTV Gleisdorf the options that they wanted, and you could see it from their faces, you could see it from the body language. They were just not getting what they wanted, and their options, you know, C through X, were not quite the quality they needed.
Yeah, that long run just after half-time. They were 6-4 down, and by the time it stopped, it was 10-6 in their favour, and that proved crucial in this game. We're going to wrap this one up quickly because we've got just under 10 minutes left before our last game of the day in the open division for us this evening. Chronicle Dizziness from Groningen in the Netherlands, taking on Diskick of Berlin, Germany, and it'll be myself and Stef Pazzo in the booth for that one. But in the meantime, from all of us here at ULTI.TV, we will see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.